Questions of the universe.
Again, we're gonna talk about the big questions of life. Like, is it possible to finally restore world peace? What is the best type of food you need to eat to stay healthy? And do I drive a T110E4 or a T110E3 in World of Tanks Blitz? Welcome again to
Questions of the universe.
Yes, welcome back ladies and gentlemen, Tankers of Blitz Universe, to the channel. My name is Martindogger and here is another comparison video for you. I had posted this up earlier on the community tab of my channel, where you could choose between the OPIC 140 versus T62A and the T110E4 versus the T110E3. And the OPIC 140 versus T62A won by quite a margin actually. So that one is already out on the channel. Do check it out. There's a link in the top right hand side corner of the screen. Well worth watching. And I decided to get some footage for the T110E4 versus the T110E3 as well. Because people like to see that one. They said, well, I don't want all of those Russian tanks. I want to get something a bit more interesting, a bit less shown on the channel. I do have a full review of the T110E4, but this is a good comparison because the tanks are very much alike. They share the chassis, they share the gun, but the T110E3 is a bit of a, well, a turtle really. Looks like it got a bit smashed and then put into, I don't know, a car crash or something like that. But it is a non-turret tank destroyer. The T110E4 obviously has one, and that's the key difference between the two tanks. The T110E3 has very good frontal armor, quite ludicrous. It was one of the worst performing tank destroyers in Tier 10 for quite a while, for really quite a while. They then buffed the tank, which made it maybe just a little bit too strong, because that frontal armor, that is mental. This is one of the best stop-gap tanks in the game. This is one of the best tanks you can use to park them into a choke point. And you can deliver quite a punch with the big gun. But as you can see, it is also not that quick. This is about the top speed you can get. You can get it up to 30, but most of the time you will be trundling around at say 20 to maximum of 25 kilometers per hour. And then having that fixed gun, that is not really helpful. So that's why I'm going in over here. I haven't done anything in terms of shooting tanks yet. That is annoying, but I was kind of predicting that. This is a supremacy match at Million Ruins, as you can see, and the Reds, they had a lot of medium tanks, and we've lost 2 of our mediums, and the team has split up completely. And that's what happens in the T1, what happens in the T110E3. That's what happens in Blitz by the looks of it. People tend to split up, especially on a map like this, where you have supremacy and then you have the really big dip between B and C cap, and there's some other undulations in the terrain. And my main focus now is to protect this friendly teammate, the AMX 5120. I got all my hit points, I can shoot a tank and bounce 2 shots, and this is what the T110E3 does best. You can see what is happening. That Centurion is having none of that. That's why I'm now confident to push in onto this E50M, and then you got a 640 Alpha gun, and then you shoot him, and you roll low for 483 only. I mean 480. I think that's my lowest roll I could get. Yeah, that's the lowest I could get. So I roll for 483. I don't really need premium ammunition, but I wanted to make sure this shot would hit on his side, so we can knock him down. And yeah, we have saved that AMX 5120 for just a little bit longer. Look at that, he's on 90 health left. He's gonna get killed. But that's what you have to do in the T110E3. You have to be map aware. You have to put your tank into positions where you can punish the Reds for their mistakes. This is quick thinking, right? The pattern is a one shot, so I want to go in on him. I'm going to no-scope this shot, and I was stupid because I bounced on the mantlet, but then just going backwards just a little bit to push him forward, and then I'm traversing on the spot because I know I have very good frontal armor. He's trying to get a shot in, but he's hoping to get away, but ta-ta! There we go. We can kill the pattern. And finally we have been putting the gun to good use. That E100, I'm not quite sure what he was doing. I think he went towards the A cap. And then figured out I'm better off helping my pattern, but the pattern is already dead, so we're a bit late. We're a bit late. I did track him in place to make sure he couldn't get around me that quick. I know I got him beat on the reload, and especially when I'm popping adrenaline. And again, AP shot the punch through the tracks for 3 kills and very lousy damage actually. And a first class because we kept the base, but yeah, that's supremacy for you. Let's hop into the statistics, compare the tanks, and then some armor profile and stuff, and then 3 more games. And we're going to use compare tanks, as you can see on blitzstars.com, and the raw numbers of the gun itself, exactly the same. DPM, penetration, the lot, it is exactly the same. Both tanks carry APCR for standard ammo, which doesn't have the glorious penetration of it, but then again 375, there's nothing to really complain about. Plus, APCR does not care about space armor, it will punch right through, and that's a bonus at the tiers these tanks play at tier 9 and 10, because there are a lot of tanks which feature spaced armor. But the T110E3 has that fixed gun, so it gets a better aim time, better dispersion, and quite surprising, a better gun depression as well compared to the T110E4. Not that the one has bad gun handling. I mean, the gun is really big, so it's not a snapshotting gun. You do get worse in terms of gun depression, which is a bit off-putting for me because I like tanks with gun depression. But then again, you've got a 180 degrees rotatable turret, so I think that's a small price to pay for having that added feature. The tanks have the same top speed, it's 35 tops, but you don't get that quite a lot. The engine power is the same, but the E3 is a heavier tank, so the E4 picks up a bit quicker, has a better effective power to weight ratio. The terrain resistance is nearly the same, as you can see. It's just a bit better on the T110E4, especially on soft ground, but the traverse is more or less the same, but again that's augmented by the turret. And the rest of the tank, it is practically the same, except for the armor profile. 305 on the front, 254, nothing to be ashamed about T110E4. But yeah, the T110E3 has the better armor, but it has a fixed gun. And the T110E4 has got really good armor, but it has a 180 degree rotatable turret. And to show you what I mean by that, this is the T110E3 from the perspective of a Leopard 1, which has a good gun, but it's fitting calibrated shells and it doesn't really have a chance to go through. There are a few little weak spots on the top of the tank, on the superstructure, on the gun mantlet and that lower plate. That is a weak spot, but it's rounded. Epileptical shape. Typically American, so it is quite trollish, and if it uses the maximum gun depression, you do expose your lower plate a bit more because that becomes flattened out, obviously. But then again, yeah, this is a mobile bunker, as you can see. Even if you use it with the maximum gun arc to the left and the right, you don't really have to fear about medium tanks frontally. How is that then with the T110E4? Let's take a look. There we go, T110E4 frontally. Of course, that one can rotate its turret, but you can see the cupola on the E4, it's far more of a weak spot. And the cheeks, they are far more of a weak spot. And you have less gun depression, but still you're presenting quite a formidable target. And if you wiggle around between shots and make it hard for them to shoot you, then you still are a really good tank. And it is possible for you to set up shots like this, where you protect your lower plate, where you can use undulations in the terrain. That is easy to do in the T110E4 because you do have that turret, but it's something to watch out for. The cupola on top, it is more of a weak spot when you compare it to the T110E3. So yeah, that's the basics of the armor profile from the left side and the right side and the back. Tanks will go through, they will punch through. And the T110E3 is no difference in that regard. It is by no means impervious. It has that big radiator at the back. And the T110E3 on the left and on the right. Medium tanks will punch through, no problems whatsoever. The strength of this tank lies in the front. So, as said, I've got 3 more games for you. And we've seen the T110E3 in the first game, so we have to switch to the T110E4 on this game. And this one was on 4 to spare. I'm the sole tank destroyer on my team, and there's only one tank destroyer on the Reds, which was, well, surprising to be honest. No platoons, and only 2 tank destroyers on tier 10. That's something different. There is a PTA popping up, and I could use HE maybe, but you can see you can set up a shot like this. This wouldn't have been possible with the T110E3, or at least not put that shot in and then be able to reverse that quickly. It is easier to set it up with the T110E4. I had already noticed a tank going in. Hello E50. Let me just put you in place. 2 shots done already. 1325 damage dealt. And I'm using the terrain. I'm moving backwards again. I'm just sitting here. I'm not wiggling around or moving a lot, just sitting there to let my camouflage reset completely. Hello grill, have 1063, and I'm spotted again. Am I spotted again? No, I'm not spotted. Interesting. That's interesting. But you can see 2.4k damage dealt already. And I am in a way a bit campy, just kind of sitting here. This I should have done with AP, then I would have punched through its track on the Leopard PTA. But it was worth the shot. I was hoping he would really rush in and try to poke. And you can see I'm again completely behind the buildings, completely in cover. And my reload is long enough to help me basically reset my camo. And by the time I'm reloaded, I know my camo has been reset. So I can just go in here, slightly side-scraping out, not giving the Reds anything to shoot at. 13.9 seconds left. And I have another shot in the chamber. Who is going to poke? An E50 over there. There's an E100 still mucking about. Hello E50. Ah, should have used AP. Try and HE with a splash. But still, it's... I'm just sitting there. And of course I was lucky that the Reds moved in like this. But this is what you can do in the tank. I wanted that... I'm not trying to ram that IS-8 so he could not shoot the E100. I wanted him to go away. I had my hit points still there, and he was a one-shot to the E100, so I'm gonna move in. I'm gonna get a shot, obviously, but I can track the E100 again into place. There we go. I catch it on the tracks. He was shooting HE. It doesn't work, mate. It only works when you can shoot me up the arse. And then I can shoot the T110E5. Try and HE on the side of the turret. It doesn't work. I'm running calibrated shells actually on the tank. That's something to watch out for as well, because that's different to the statistics I had been using. But I like the calibrated shells. They give me a penetration of 310 on AP and 394 on my APCR. And 310 on AP means I have enough punching power to go through the cheeks of an E100 without having to resort to premium ammunition. And my setup is basically the same with the T110E4 and the T110E3. I have calibrated shells fitted, as said. I've got improved modules, optics, enhanced gun laying drive, enhanced armor on both of them. The improved control, because I find getting to that, say, cruising speed of 22 to maximum 25, I get there quick enough. I want my traverse up. And then I have vertical stabilizers fitted, a toolbox, and high-end consumables. And that's the same as said for basically both of the tanks, the T110E3 and the T110E4. Righty. The first game of the T110E3, there was not really stellar performance. I mean, let's just face it, it was basically me driving around like a muppet, not shooting anyone, and only in the end did I manage to get a little bit of damage in. So I saw my team moving up towards the factory area, and DJC 500 from Riot and the Chief, the Mark 6, went up to the middle to spot, and this basically told me the Reds are moving in like a boss. And I have to support DJ now, because if I don't support him, he will get shot severely. And this is what the T110E3 does best. There is one shot into the 57, bouncing one shot, gonna bounce another one, wiggle wiggle. They're shooting it on the front of my armor, and I'm hiding actually my lower plate into the ground. And look at that, 1940 damage blocked. 2.3k blocked, and another shot into the T57 heavy. Checking my angles, I'm getting flanked by that IS-7. No, not quite. He's burning as well. That's very good. And I can now hopefully... Yeah, I can get the shot. Come on, show the cupola. Show the cupola. Thank you. AP straight through. Let's break through their armor. Bouncing another shot. Gonna bounce another one. There we go. 400 blocked. Can we bounce? Yeah, we can bounce another one. He's going to pen me. Yes, he is. But I can shoot you again. Oh, there's heat. Thank you very much. Right, you're down. And we're gonna bounce another one for good measure. 3.5k blocked. But basically sitting here and wiggling around. And I mean, a T110E3 in a position like that, that's something to be fearful about. You really have to worry about a T110E3 sitting like that. It is a big task to get past it. It really is. And imagine having to face this tank in, say, your T44 with an LB1 gun or a Pershing. That's I feared facing this tank on the greens or on the greens on the reds. When I was in that old matchmaking, it really wasn't a tank that I wanted to encounter. But it is a tank that can be easily overcome if you don't have any support. And I got some support from DJC from Riot Clan, so shout out to you in the Chieftain Mark 6. Thank you very much for spotting and for allowing me to sit there, soak up the hits and deal 3.4k damage. And this is also the difference between Supremacy and Encounter. If you can just sit there, in Supremacy, cap a base, and it keeps running constantly, you'll get first classes and aces. It's kind of stupid, but you do get them. So that's what you should do in the T110E3. You have to go to a choke point and you have to support your team. There's no other way around it. And people, please, if you see a T110E3 on your team, support him. Don't leave him alone. Don't leave him alone. It's a really good tank, but you have to support him. Same as a Jagdpanzer E100. You have to support him. It's a really big gun. It's got really good armor. But against two mediums who know what they are doing, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. How do I bounce this shot is beyond me. Maybe on a gun mantlet. And I angled just in time to block that HE shot. Was it heat? Maybe? No, it was HE. But yeah, only 274 damage done. And the Reds are pushing this flank pretty hard. And it could well be me, but the meta on Faust seems to be to dig in on both of the factories, basically, and then have a trench warfare, everybody shooting each other straight across. So let's embrace the chaos and join in. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. And I'm trying to side scrape out here. You've got the Jagdpanzer E100 to the left, who is soaking up some hits, and then you also get this. You know what I'm saying? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. E100, please. I'm trying to set up a shot. Hello. Luckily, I got a turret and I can shoot at VK, and he's not down now to 29 hit points. But come on, dude, what are you doing? Why? It's not like I'm doing nothing. I'm not blocking your shots. You're driving around like a muppet. Come on, let's face it. This wasn't stellar performance. In the meantime, we're getting flanked pretty hard because the Batchat kills the Type 61 in just a few seconds. Yeah, there it is. Potato Skin 2. But luckily, the Batchat decides to push in. And he has not reset his camel. There it is. And let's strike through the tissue. I'm gonna pop adrenaline because I want to clear him. And it is annoying. He has a dead driver and a broken engine. The E100 kills him, but that's annoying. It's a waste of my adrenaline. And then I was thinking, right, there's a 268 over here, and I just screw up. And you, come on, Martin, what are you doing? You knew those tanks were there on the left, and yet you turned around and let them shoot the side of your turret easily. So can I shoot you now? What's that available? Oh, that's a grill. Oh, a snapshot. Yes! Thank you very much. Enemy armor is damaged. Let's knack. Right, I'm on 503. That's probably why he wanted to stay there and try to take the shot anyways, because I'm a one shot. And now it is, you can see it is a 2 on 4. There's a full health FE4202 to deal with. There is a full health Death Star on our team. There's a fairly healthy Death Star on the Reds as well. And this is what you can do in the T110E4. Just look at that. Punch through the side of the E100's front. And I can set up that shot like that, and that wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been able to do that in the E3. But the biggest problem now is that I don't know where the grill is. I don't know where the red Death Star is. I don't know where the grill is. Can I get a shot in on the... it doesn't go in on the FE4202. Oh, I have to run away now. That's the grill. There is the E100 rolling in. The Death Star is somewhere knocking about. Where are you, mate? Can't see either of you. That's annoying. Come on, can I shoot you now? On the gun mantlet. This is going to be close, but luckily we've got a Death Star. We all know what Death Stars can do. So that FE4202 decided to rush in, and he gets nuked. And I can punch the red E100 now. I raise up my gun, get my cupola behind the wall. Thank you very much. Switch to APCR, not because I need the penetration, but I wanted to clear the tank here. I wanted to kill him. There it is. It is a 2-on-2. That's far better than a 2-on-4. And it is now a 2-on-1. But I also know the Death Star is going down. That Death Star is on 990 health, as you can see. And I'm not able to come around. I'm spotted as well because of proxy spotting, so I have to run away here. And as I do that, I'm going to talk you through the tanks again. I'm using the cameras a bit to see what the Death Star is looking at. Is he looking at me? Can I get a shot of it? You probably splash me to death. Is he watching? He has gone away. Let's drive away ever so slightly. Can you shoot me? No, you can't. Thank you very much. Alright, I got 20 seconds to go away. So, final verdict. T110E3 or T110E4? I have quite comparable statistics actually on both of the tanks. But it's probably because of the fact that I drive maybe too aggressively in tier 10. Yeah, that's probably me being too aggressive. I had the T110E4 earlier. I'm still not quite to grips with how to play the T110E3. I tend to be overconfident with the armor, maybe. But I'm liking both of them. But this one, the T110E4, has the edge for me. Why is that? This was my first tier 10 tank destroyer. The line itself, it is not the most... well, let's say balanced one. It has some strange tanks in it. The T25/2, which plays more like a medium. You have the slowish T28 Proto. You have the godly T30 with a big gun and the monster turret and the very low DPM. But it's a great tank to play. And then you get to this one and you have to quite adjust to it because the T110E4 is just not that good at hull down as the T30. But I still like this one over the T110E3. It's only a small margin, but if I would have to pick one of these lines as a first tank destroyer line, I would go for this one, I think. So, yeah. Last bits, 30 seconds left about. And this is what I was hoping for. I was kind of panicking. I was hoping, mate, go into the cap, because if you go into the cap, I know you are there, and I can shoot you, and I can beat you on the reload. I got 30 seconds, and I got adrenaline left, so I can shoot you once. Where are you? There you are. Thank you very much. Right. Enemy armor is damaged. 248 hit points left. I'm popping adrenaline. What we're gonna do? If he shoots me with the hash, I'm dead. I don't care. The win is a win. Screw the draw. Screw the draw! And he shoots AP, not hash. Thank you very much. We get a mastery, a high caliber, nearly 60 damage, Confederate, and a beloved Spartan medal. And look at those credits as well. Oh, shake your hands, but it was a highlight for me that way. I gave him a worthy opponent. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, Tankers of Blitz Universe, for watching. Keep an eye out on the community tab. I will be posting another option for a versus or that, comparison video. And of course, we are having German week starting very soon as well. My name is martindogger. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers and happy tanking!